Is Marvel Legacy just the latest in the debacle that has been Marvel Comics as of late? Is it the proverbial nail in the coffin? Let's talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. I know it's probably been a while since you've seen my face in this format. If you're watching the Nerdy News Hour, you might see me, but a lot of the videos I've been doing lately are audio only, and that's just to save on time because, as I keep saying in video after video, we have a lot of big things going on behind the scenes, and I think you're going to be excited for it. But let's get right into this video. So this is my Marvel Legacy rant, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not super pissed about this. The news broke a while ago, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. So I've had some time to kind of calm down about it. And to be completely honest, like Marvel has so driven me away from their comics that I'm so like not invested in what's going on. So honestly, when things like this happen, I like say, oh, okay, but I'm not like affected by it. But it's definitely worth talking about. And if you don't know, Marvel Legacy is this event that Marvel has been kind of propping up and teasing for a while now. And it is their version of DC Rebirth. The whole idea with Marvel Legacy is to bridge the gap that they created when they killed off or changed legacy characters and they propped up the whole social justice warrior thing. Now, I'm not going to get into the social justice warrior problem in this video. My opinions of it are pretty well documented and they fluctuate a lot. The bottom line is this: I don't necessarily think that the social justice warrior thing is exactly the problem with Marvel. The problem with Marvel is that they're tone deaf and they don't listen to their actual fans. So basically the biggest thing that Marvel is in hot water with is actually retailers. Retailers have a lot of concerns because they have stacks and stacks and stacks of Marvel books that they simply cannot sell. You know, you could make the argument that some of these books are the new diverse cast, this whole thing that they're trying to do with politics and being topical. You could make that argument. I don't know if I necessarily agree. There are definitely some of those books that are unsellable in certain markets around the country. And this has literally caused retailers to have stacks and stacks of books that they can't sell, and they're super duper pissed at Marvel. Legacy was the answer to that, not only to the retailers but to the fans. So the comics industry is really weird, right? Basically, the comic book companies have to sell to retailers, but the retailers have to sell to us, to the comic book fans, right? So it's this weird middleman-y kind of messed up industry in which the retailers don't really get guaranteed. They have to take a temperature of what their marketplace or what their audiences will buy, and then they order that from Marvel. What Marvel's job is to do is to cater to both the fans and the retailers, right? Obviously, they sell to the retailers directly, but they need to have good rapport with their fans and good public relations with their fans so that the fans buy the books from the retailers, so that the retailers are satisfied and the retailers continue to order from Marvel. That has not been happening. Retailers are super pissed. Now, there are certain retailers in big markets that are doing just fine, that are pushing the majority of numbers they've always pushed. And to be completely fair, there are some of these books, these SJW books and these, you know, topical books that sell really, really well in Manhattan or, you know, in downtown Philadelphia or whatever. But the overall marketplace in general has not been selling a lot. Look, you can look at the numbers. It's well documented. Marvel is in a tailspin. They're making bad PR decision after PR decision. But their biggest problem is with retailers, okay? And so what they promised with Legacy was that some of they were going to go back to their old ways. They're going to go back to the old way that things were. And the word legacy implies that these legacy characters were going to come back. This is Tony Stark. This is Thor, the actual Thor. This is Banner as the Hulk. That's what you think of when you think of legacy. Now, basically, when Marvel rolled out the covers and the look at all of the books in Legacy, there was a lot of confusion because, quite frankly, these aren't the new character, or these aren't those old characters. A lot of the characters on the Legacy poster are the exact same characters that certain markets and certain people are having a problem with. They can't sell these books. And then Marvel's answer is Legacy, and now they're doing this. This literally caused a uproar, a commotion from retailers. Marvel had to do an emergency retailer summit and try to calm everybody down. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And here's the problem. Here's why Marvel is screwing up so badly, in my opinion. And it's kind of entertaining to just watch this whole thing burn. The problem is this. I think that it's the right move, actually, to keep those characters around. I think it's the right idea to try to bridge the gap. I mean, like, you're going to have an Iron Man book now with Riri and with Doctor Doom. That's one of the books Infamous Doom is actually one of the books that I personally really, really like in the MCU. Riri, I don't give a fuck about. Riri is, to me, just, a poster child for diversity in comics. I don't find her very interesting, but to be fair, I haven't really read her because I actually started to dislike the Iron Man book a long time ago. So I'm not really, there on that. But from what I understand, the vast majority of people really don't like Riri. So, however, I do think it's the right move to actually keep them and try to bring your legacy back. Why not have both, right? Here's the problem. You didn't sell us on that, Marvel. That's not what you said. You said you were bringing old characters back, and now you're kind of saying some of your old characters are going to come back. Maybe? And their big rebuttal, their big thing to make everybody feel at ease was that Legacy is only a setup for another event coming next, which is actually going to be that big crazy thing they promised that was going to change comics forever. That was going to be really, really cool, right? So Legacy is just another event to get us to another event. We have event fatigue right now. We don't need any more events in this whole model where you have all of these books that you need to dive down this incredible rabbit hole and read all these little tie-ins in order to understand it. And you're forced into reading tie-ins even if you don't care about the main event, because they drip and the tendrils of these things go over all of these different publications. It's very, very weird, and it's one of the things that is killing them. I mean, look at some of the things they said in that summit. If your big selling point is that you're actually going to have heroes fighting villains, you've severely lost your way. And I think that that's inherent to the big two. It's really not a problem for companies like Image or even IDW or Valiant, who, by the way, Valiant, I'm really liking some of their books. A friend turned me on to them recently, and I'm really liking their whole direction. But the idea here is the new influx of readers, which is happening because of what's going on in the movies. They go into comic book shops and they don't recognize any of the characters that they fell in love with in the movies. This is a big problem. They've created this world because they want to, inject all these points and have all this diversity and do all these different things. You've created a world that doesn't have a nice, easy jumping on point. And for them to even just come out and say, we're going to get back to heroes fighting villains is so crazy to me. You've so lost your way if that is the big thing that you're going to push. It's really, really crazy to me. I don't know what's going to happen with Legacy. I got to be honest, I don't really care. I'm not that excited either way about Legacy, but at this point, it's almost comical to watch Marvel just continue to mess up thing after thing after thing. I mean, it is not so much that Legacy is this thing that's going to homogenize their old and new. It is the fact that they promised and sold us on the fact that they were bringing back new people. I mean, there are a lot of fans out there that are really disenfranchised with Marvel. They turned Captain America into Hydra, and although that is a well-written story and it's good, that's not something that you do after mess up after mess up after mess up. It's almost like they are trying to destroy themselves. It really does feel that way. It feels like they're trying to destroy Marvel Comics and ruin the experience that fans have had with this stuff forever. Here's what's really weird. I'm a hardcore Marvel guy. I've always liked Marvel way more. Spider-Man, favorite character. Love everything about him. Can't wait for the movie. It's going to be really, really cool. Nowadays, I read way more DC because it feels like they are way more in touch with what the fans actually want out of these comics. I mean, you can't even really understand what is going on in Marvel right now. And they have way too many fucking books. Way too many books. Did you know that Legacy is going to launch 52 books? And what's crazy to me is, yes, the new 52 launched 52 titles, but that was one of its downfalls. People can't afford or have the time to read 52 comics a week. It's insanity, especially as you jack up the price, you put bullshit backups into these things, and then you try to gimmick us with crossovers and new numbering. And oh, by the way, some of the books in Legacy are going to get new numbers. Like, what does that even mean? Some of the books are going to get new numbers. How did you come to that decision? It's literally comical at this point. And it breaks my heart because Marvel is my team. That's my team. That's the flag I wave. But I can't even suggest to people to go read Marvel Comics right now. It's a fucking mess, to be quite frank. And so, yeah, it's an incredibly frustrating time. But I felt like, you know, even though I'm really, really busy and we're not putting out a lot of videos right now, I felt like I needed to sit down and I needed to do a video about Marvel Legacy and give you guys my thoughts. Honestly, I will be checking out some of the books, and I'll certainly be following this whole story as it unravels, and be following what Marvel does and what the retailers do and different things like that. I'm actually an editor for a comic book company. We're indie, so we don't really, you know, play in some of the same fields as Marvel. But as a person that works in the industry, man, I'm super fascinated by all of this. It's been really interesting to watch. I just, you know, I really don't get it. I think that the leadership needs to change. I personally have big problems with Brevoort. I just think that they need to wake up. The entire industry is way out of touch, by the way. I think the entire industry needs a shakeup, and they need to like figure out how people are using media these days. Things are changing, and you're like holding on to these really, really old paradigms, which I think are really hurting the entire industry. But that's on the macro. On the micro, there are still people that are doing things better than the other. And wow, Marvel's getting their ass absolutely handed to them right now. And it sucks. It sucks to see. So I just kind of wanted to do this video. Please let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts about Legacy? Are you pumped about it? Do you think it's garbage? What do you think's going on with this whole SJW thing? Like, look, there's a lot of people that like these books. I don't want those people that just got into comics to now have nothing to read because we're going to take it all away. But like when you say Legacy, it has to be Legacy. Like, look at the poster for Legacy. How many of those characters would you consider Legacy characters? It's crazy to me what the fuck is going on over there. But that's my opinion. I want to know yours. Let me know. As always, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!